It's been a few days since I made a video. Hello, Joey, only the Cariboo weather dude here. Once again, welcome to my channel. Please hit like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Help me grow this channel. I've had about 100 new subscribers in the last month. So it's growing and I want that to keep happening. I want this channel to be what I do. All right, last week on the episode about avalanches, I said someone is going to die. And I knew I was right. That's why I said it. And someone died. And this is what happens. Okay, so forecasters are saying that this could potentially be one of the worst avalanche seasons in BC in decades. The conditions are really ripe for large-scale avalanches. In a lot of regions right now, it says it's moderate, and you think, oh, moderate danger. Oh, that's not such a big deal. But actually, moderate is very dangerous. So we had a police officer get killed near Highway 31A that kind of runs from Kaslo to New Denver. And these two police officers grew up in Calgary and were officers there, transferred to Nelson area so that they could spend more time in the mountains. Snowmobile up, skiing around, triggers an avalanche. Let's look at the details. Fatal recreational incident. This one's called Jardin SE3. It was a size 3 deep persistent slab, west-facing aspect at about 2,300 meters above sea level. A group of two had accessed the area using snowmobiles and were skiing during the incident. The start zone is described as a thin, rocky, windward slope. The avalanche failed on a weak layer of basal facets, which was buried in mid-November. The subject was buried nearly 2 meters deep. That's the image right there where the avalanche occurred. The officer who survived apparently hit a tree and it really fucked him up, but it probably saved his life, he's saying. Fatal recreational accident. I mean, I can keep shouting from the mountaintops, I can keep screaming at everybody, but I don't have the reach between here and interior weather and wilderness watchers yet to really make a profound impact. So I'm frustrated because I'm trying my best to speak out and make sure things like this don't happen. When we look at avalanche conditions across the board, easy to lull yourself into complacency. Moderate in the Cariboo, considerable through much of the central parts of the province. On the coast there you got some considerable, but then you got this like low area near Hope, which is kind of confusing, but it's going to bump up to considerable in the next couple of days. So, I mean, you can look at the avalanche reports and convince yourself that, oh, things aren't as bad as I've seen them be. And, you know, clearly there's not reds across the board right now. The other incident that happened this week on Monday, January 9th, Blackcomb Disease Ridge. There was one person in the group. They were not injured. They were caught in the avalanche, but not buried. And a little steeper that country, and you can see very much not safe. You're playing around in places like that. You are asking for trouble. There is no doubt about it. Dozens of people tried to save this officer on Monday. The deceased is named Wade Tiddamore, a 43-year-old constable. He had a wife, 2 elementary school-age sons. Chief Donovan Fisher from the Nelson Police Department says Nelson's one of the smallest municipal police forces in Canada. We're like a big family. The tragedy is devastating. They were fine men, fine officers. The whole community is hurting. According to CTV, the 2 men were skiing near Goat Range Provincial Park. Authorities said the off-duty officers appeared to have entered the area on snowmobiles before hiking with their skis to a bowl in the Alpine. After the avalanche, bystanders were able to find and rescue Nolette, who was airlifted to hospital in critical condition. He has broken ribs, multiple bones, and many other internal injuries. As a force, the police are doing everything they can to assist in his recovery. Says they explained that both men had locator beacons. They were passionate about the outdoors. Nolette said he slammed into a tree as the avalanche hit him, and while the impact caused him significant injuries, it most likely saved his life. The way he hit it, he kind of came back up a bit, so he had one arm out of the snow, said Fisher, adding Nolette was able to move his arm and get attention of other skiers and snowmobiles in the area. So he was buried, but survived. Monday's avalanche highlights the dangerous conditions in the province's mountains, where forecasters warn last year's drought and record-breaking cold temperatures have made for unusually weak snowpack. This could be one of the most dangerous avalanche seasons in decades. Simon Horton, senior forecaster for Avalanche Canada, says there's a heightened avalanche condition on specific terrain features that cause large human-triggered avalanches. It's a tricky time to travel in the backcountry because in some areas rated moderate, there may not be obvious signs that avalanches could occur. This is the first fatal avalanche of the year, but there have been a number of people caught in avalanches and many near misses so far. Anyone going to the backcountry, whether it's to ski or snowmobile hike, should have avalanche safety training courses. It's important to carry the essential rescue equipment. Avalanche forecaster Mike Conlon says the weak snowpack this year in Western Canada only occurs about once every 10 or 20 years. This sort of snowpack setup is not common, he says. The last time we saw a snowpack of this magnitude, many professionals are reaching back to 2003, one of the worst years on record for fatalities caused by avalanches. That was the year Craig Kellery, one of the best professional snowboarders at the time, was one of 7 people killed in an avalanche on the Durand Glacier near Revelstoke. In February, 7 high school students died after being caught in avalanches in southeastern BC. This year's snowpack's different from most previous years. Professionals with decades of experience suggest this weak snowpack is only seen once every 10 to 20 years. Lengthy periods of drought and cold weather created numerous problematic layers in the snowpack. The map shows the status of these weak layers with the caveat that there are small-scale variations which are better described in the daily avalanche bulletins. The setup of the snowpack varies across the province, but there's a similar theme for most areas. Riders have triggered large, scary avalanches with high consequences. One commonality is that many avalanches were triggered by riders from tens to hundreds of meters away from the slope that avalanched. This indicates that the buried weak layers are widespread and spatially connected, meaning you could trigger the layer anywhere on or near a slope. This is called remote triggering. It's a clear sign of unstable snowpacks. It's also difficult to anticipate where avalanches may be triggered from. So the problem is you may not have strong evidence that weak layers exist. The complication of the snowpack setup is that layers are deep enough that are a lot less likely to see clues like nearby avalanche activity, wumping, or cracking snow. If you experience any of these, of course, it's a strong sign to keep things tame, but right now we must remember the first sign of trouble could be triggering high-consequence avalanches. Given the widespread nature of these layers and their location deep in the snowpack, a triggered avalanche is likely to be very large. We've seen several near misses, riders triggering avalanche on these layers and narrowly escaping a fatal outcome. Professionals are treating the snowpack with an abundance of caution, given the high consequences of being caught. And it's probably going to stick around for a while, that's the thing. The snowpack's not getting better anytime soon. Atmospheric river on its way is what Avalanche Canada is saying. A weak pair of upper disturbances moving south to north will give light snowfall, mainly the coastal sections of the mountains. Odd flurry over the interior today. The real weather maker, however, is the incoming atmospheric river beginning Wednesday night. Precipitation will start off as light to moderate, intensify to moderate to heavy on Thursday for southern coast mountains. Freezing levels will rise to 1,800, maybe 2,300 meters, and strong and southerly flow from Thursday morning through Friday evening. Precipitation combined with melting snow may result in high stream flows. The interior from boundary ranges to Kootenay Pass and up the northern Rockies will see periods of precipitation beginning Thursday continuing to Saturday. Areas to receive the largest precipitation are the Monashee, Selkirks, and southern Cariboos. Freezing levels will peak near 2,000 meters for the boundary range up to Silver Star. So more or less, there is some weather coming, but it's not quite here yet. We'll talk about that more next video. My condolences to everybody affected by the fatal avalanche. Please be safe out there. Someone is going to die. I've said that. Well, now I'm going to say multiple people are going to die. It's not safe in the BC mountains right now, and you think you know what you're doing. You think you're an expert. You think you have training. You think you're tough. It won't matter. You think you have the safety gear. It won't matter if you trigger one of these large-scale avalanches. I'm Joey, only the Cariboo Weather Dude. Please subscribe and help me grow this channel. We'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks very much. Bye now.